computer, lights.
Good morning, everybody, and happy Wednesday. I'm here with Pepper, and Pepper and I are in classic this show style, not going to do any watercolor yet. Because neither one of us are ready to do watercolor. That's all right. That's totally cool.
I'm in the middle of drawing, at least.
At least you're in the middle of drawing it, and that's the important part, right?
Yeah.
So I am working on still building the 3D sets for what I wanted to do today was render out the set and then just paint it, because that'd be kind of cool, to watercolor out the 3D render of the set.
Yeah.
But I got discouraged by my chair.
Like you do.
Like one would. And so now I'm working on chair. So that's where we are today, is chair. So I'm going to switch to my monitor where you can see Blender's interface while I work on something unseemly. Or rather, very seemly. There is no real seemly. Have you noticed that? You don't say, "Oh, Pepper, that was very seemly. Well done." Nobody ever says that.
Well, I think when you're talking about unseemly and seemly, no one really uses seemly anymore. Everyone uses unseemly.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Nobody ever says, "Hey, Pepper, that was a very seemly thing for you to do,"
Yeah. I don't think how that would really work in a conversation in modern English.
Right? It does seem very weird.
Unseemly.
It seems unseemly. They modified Blender and took away my box unwrap function, which really aggravates me. Because they're very proud of their seam function.
Ha ha!
That's why I'm making the joke. They're very proud of their seam function, but that now means that I've got to make seams in all of my models in order for it to unwrap properly, and seams are a pain in the butt.
Yep.
It makes like a heart-shaped thing. I love this chair. There we go. Because, of course, that's the biggest problem, is that, like all good 3D programs, it has to select the thing furthest from the viewer first, which I've never understood, but it's like a universal thing for all 3D programs. They always select the thing furthest back. Software updates make things worse for everyone.
Video games too.
It's so true. Okay, so I think I'm going to do the chair pedestal. So this is our chair. I think I'll do the chair pedestal separate. That's probably what we'll do. You can see the pedestals over here. I'm going to unwrap. That made it really weird. But I can probably read that. Enough that I'm not that worried. Okay. Then we'll do this part. All right. We've snagged that part. Good morning, Ghost Hand. So we're doing Watercolor Wednesday, and neither one of us are actually doing watercolors. I'm not sure what to think about that, but that's all right.
Typical show.
Right? Making noises.
Yep.
I'm helping. I'm helping a lot. You're like, no, you're really not.
No, it's fine.
And I was going to say, at this point, you've kind of gotten adjusted. Maybe I should just do the seat of the chair separate. Maybe that's not a bad idea. Okay, we'll come over here. Let's unwrap. There we go. So that's the seat bottom. Actually doesn't. It's just time consuming. It doesn't actually take that long. Gesundheit.
Messages from Bill.
We might get messages from Maya today.
Oh, she home?
Yeah. She's on vacation effective now. Let's take a look at where everything is on this.
That's right. She works in the schooling system, right?
Yep, and this is her one break for the year. Not sure what to think about that, but okay. Okay, so you are chair pad, and you are also a chair pad. So we will rotate them so that they make some sense. There we go. So those are the pads of the chair. This is the chair back, which for some reason looks like it's like, yeah, it doesn't look quite right. I don't know why. Here's the chair back. And then here's the seat. And all I'm going to do is just put these things in some logical order. So that it makes sense. Otherwise, I'll never figure out what the heck each one of these pieces is. Like so. So there we go. And then we have the tough one because I really got really close here. There we go. Let's do that. That helps us a lot. And here is the stand of it, which actually goes this way. And I might actually do this. That's
There
not.
you are.
That seems like a bad thing, doesn't it now?
I will be right back. I have to go check something before a timer goes off.
Okay. I think it's funny because his picture has frozen. So even though Pepper is not here, his ghost image still is. Which cracks me up. So as far as we're concerned, he's still working over there. Look at him working. He's so diligent. Diligently working. Oh my goodness. Goodness. There we go. We got everything in here except for, and I'm not sure why. What? I don't know what these guys are. So I will switch to face mode and select faces until I figure out which face is not being shown here. These guys.
Oh no!
You're frozen. So totally, you've been diligently working this entire time.
Oh well, that's good.
Yep. It's been awesome.
Am I no longer frozen?
No, you're still frozen. It's awesome.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
There's that. You're like, well,
okay.
there's that.
No, before the show, earlier this morning, I decided to make some more seitan, which is, for those of you who don't know what seitan is, it is meat made with vital wheat gluten, or fake meat made
Could
from.
it be Satan?
No,
Okay.
I mean, I think Mr. Satan from Dragon Ball Z is a little gamey. I don't
Right.
think I'd want to eat that. Mm-mm.
That's fair.
Plus, Vidal may actually not really enjoy the fact that her father became food.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
Realities here. Realities, I tell you. Why are you still frozen?
I don't know. Can you hear me at least?
I can hear you just fine. Like I said, you've been diligently just toiling away there, for the last, 20 minutes or so.
Hmm. Okay.
I know, right? I'm like, well,
Did
that's a
something
thing.
change?
No? You might want to turn off and turn your. Well, here, I'll turn you off. There we go. There you are. Well, now you're back. Welcome back, Pepper.
Hey. So,
That works.
alrighty.
Feel like I need to figure out which ones are in the front. Thanks. Mr. Totally Not Helpful. There we go. I think I will. I'm going to take these guys and move them out because we are having weird issues with this. So there we go. And the back right here, I'll make this part of the back on this side. Yeah, see, I didn't want to. Because all of this makes logical sense, except that it's upside down. But other than that, it makes logical sense. It's just you guys that don't make logical sense.
What are you trying to say? I make logical sense?
No, I would never say that. That's insulting, man. I would never insult you. I promise.
Them's fighting words.
Right? Exactly. Like I said in that post you made, I'm like, damn it, Jim. I'm an artist, not a mathematician.
Well, I mean, I got it because it was like kind of drilled into me, like how to do the order of the things.
Right.
However, everyone's like, you know, it's not parentheses, it's not this or that, and like I was looking at some of the other comments, and I'm just like, dude, we've had so many changes in math since our parents, and then Gen X had their own version. Like after Gen X had their own version. They keep changing it. It's annoying.
Yep. I just guess. It works a whole lot better for me.
Well, what I found interesting is like I talk to people that are not that much younger than me, and they're
Right.
like, "Yeah, when I went to college, I had to actually relearn math," and I'm like, "What?"
Your what hurts? Yeah.
I'm like, "What? What do you mean?" And they're like, so essentially, like they weren't prepared for um, basic college math because of Common Core math, and therefore, a lot of them had to relearn math. Because even if we have like the systems that are in place for, say, high school, like all of that, right?
Yep.
Colleges still don't use that version of math. Not all colleges use that math.
Not all
So,
colleges.
I mean, you can sit there and like say, well, my college did. I'm like, your college is not the same college as, Joe Schmo's.
Well, and that was like we've said before, that was the entire point behind Common Core, was to make it so that we were all speaking the same language. Because that actually is exactly what the problem is. That post exemplifies the problem perfectly. And that is, we kept changing how we do our math to make it easier for kids. And all we really ended up doing was having 62 different ways of doing the same math problem. And you'd end up then in college trying to actually do, like, say, physics or something applicable to the universe. And you're writing out all these weird formulas, and people are like, the hell are you doing? Because there's no consistency to it. And that, of course, is the reason behind Common Core. Or at least that was the theory behind it when they created it. Now, whether it achieved that or not is a completely different story. However, that was what they were after.
I just like I personally am just like, all right, I was taught this version of math, I'm gonna use it. I mean, if you actually go based off of how it's actually laid out, the answer would have been 4.
Yep.
If you did everything just like in a straight line. If you did things in the order of operations, it is 104.
Right? Which that's showing some of the problems with, our system, the Common Core system. Okay, that's the back. Here is the back of my entire chair. Chair back.
Cool.
And sides. Weirdly. But it won't really matter because I'm not going to put graphics on the side, really, of these chairs. Now I just have to figure out where. Okay, so they are in the correct order.
I am currently drawing a store front type deal along the street. So if anyone can see this.
It's kind of hard to see, but it looks cool. It looks like a car.
Well, yeah, I'm drawing the storefront behind the car. And then, yeah, I'm actually doing an entire scene.
That's the way to do it. Okay, so those are on the other side. So we will do I'll just have to remember what these things do.
They don't do much. They just eat your food
And sit around the house.
and sit around the house.
I've had that problem all the time with vertices. You people really need to not be freeloaders, and you're just not listening to me.
Virgos too.
Virgos. Like they'll leave. Don't worry. All right. cool thing is they give me a pencil. Give me a pencil, and I will write a lot of things.
All right. Of course. The moment I start drawing, I run out of lead.
All right. I think I've got this all squared away, which is nice. Save. We'll save as. And no, not save as. We got to export it. Export as a wavefront object. Call it the room chair. And then we take the UV map, export UV layout. Room chair. PNG. Export layout. Now we see whether that worked. It may or may not have. Open. Room chair.png. I was hoping that all of the nice little things that I wrote were all there. Hello, Brent. Yes, it's Watercolor Wednesday, and neither one of us are doing watercolors, and we're only mildly recalcitrant about that.
I'm drawing something, though, that I don't think I normally draw on your show, Guy.
Nudity?
I don't think I actually ever have drawn a vehicle on your
That's
show.
true. I don't think you have either.
Yeah. So for Brent and Ghost Hand and anyone else watching after this, because that's possible, I am drawing something that I'm hoping that you guys will be able to see eventually. If you can see that. That's what I'm working on.
There you go.
Yeah.
I, on the other hand, am doing what I was doing before, which is working on trying to finish my 3D model. We got a long way yesterday during the show, which was cool.
Sweet. And this is the last show of the week, right?
No, we got tomorrow. But this is the last show for you and me.
Ah, okay.
This is too small. I'm going to do image size. Yep, I forgot. I forgot to do the increase map thing. I'm like, well, the brushes are really... So I think this is, yeah, because we'll be driving on Friday.
Ah.
So, and worse, driving through Texas in the middle of a heat wave. So, not fun. But somehow strangely appropriate.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like Dad was always kind of doing the heat wave thing all the time, you know? So I feel like it kind of fits in its own weird way.
Gotcha.
That's all right. Okay, so this is the top of the foot.
So I would like to point out something that I found out about someone I know, their kids, this past weekend.
Their kid?
Yeah, their kids. Multiple. Right?
Uh-huh.
As I've said before, I'm a huge Scooby-Doo fan. To many people, it's not an unknown fact. Like
No, many kids are interested in Scooby-Doo, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
totally just implied you were a kid. But of
yeah,
course,
I know.
technically I am too, so there's that.
Yeah.
Not much of an insult there.
So I found out that their kids had never watched Scooby-Doo.
Now, see, that's just wrong. That's child abuse.
The
That's what I'm saying.
classic Scooby-Doo.
Right? That's child abuse.
So none of them had seen any of the shows except for Mystery Incorporated, which is a more modern take on the series.
Yeah, I have to say, though, to be fair, yeah, there won't be any show Friday, Brent. I'm going to be en route. I might be actually in your neighborhood at some point in time. I'm only going as far as Salina, though. And I take I-35 south.
Is it en route or en route?
I'm sorry, Bill?
I said, is it en route or en route?
That's a good question. I feel like route is the noun and route is the verb. But I feel like that's convention. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not 100% sure.
Mm-hmm.
We just all sort of agree.
I'm not ragging you for it. I just find stuff like that interesting.
No. I'm with you.
No, he's ragging. Ragging.
Messages from Kid. What's up, Kid?
Are you on the show?
Yep.
What?
He comes in and he looks at me and he's like, are you in your show? I'm like, yeah. And and walks off. He doesn't say anything. He just disappears. Hey, Ghost Pepper has a question for you. Ghost Pepper. Ghost Hand has a pepper for you. Boy, I'm having English issues right there. Nah, I don't even know.
Yes, I am aware of the Courage the Cowardly Dog and Scooby-Doo movie coming out. And yes, I am super excited about it. I cannot believe that it has taken this long for that crossover to occur. Like,
Right?
legit, like when Courage the Cowardly Dog came out, they teased kind of like Cartoon Network back in the day used to like do like these things that were similar to like Laugh Olympics, where they would tease the characters being put together in like one show, but it wasn't like really a show. It was like a commercial for Cartoon Network. And like you can't find them anywhere. Like I've tried looking for them. I remember watching these things, and I honestly like I don't know. Like I'm super stoked about having it. I used
I
to
decided
baby.
I like Ghost Pepper.
Mhm.
That's just funny.
You're
The
trying to say
bumpers.
Ghost Hand.
Yeah, I ended up with Ghost Hand and Pepper being screwed up together, and then ended up being Ghost Pepper.
That's it. That's what I should do. Ghost Hand, you gave me my new handle. I'll be called Ghost Pepper from now on.
Ghost Pepper. Gotta admit, Ghost Peppers, that's a thing. Those are real.
Yeah, they are. Unfortunately, someone has actually cornered the art market with Ghost Pepper. I know that.
Ghost Pepper. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, that wouldn't actually surprise me.
Now, all they need to do next for Scooby Doo is do a crossover with Space Ghost and Harvey Birdman.
Space Ghost Coast to Coast. I love what they did with Space Ghost. That was still one of my favorite things ever.
Space Ghost Coast to Coast?
Yeah, because they just had the cells lying around, so they just scanned them all in.
Yep.
They're like, well, we'll just reuse them a lot. Like, I think Hanna-Barbera would just appreciate that.
I mean,
Very funny. It was particularly cute. I thought that was awesome.
That was basically how Hanna-Barbera made any money, is reusing stuff.
true.
I only heard part of that. Sorry, Bill. What'd you say?
Hanna-Barbera's animation style was literally reusing the same animations over and over and over again.
It was.
And the Supernatural crossover with Scooby-Doo in Supernatural or Scuba-Natural episode was amazing. I found it so funny, and I loved what they did with Velma in that one.
That's awesome.
Yeah. They proved once and for all that Daphne has no interest in any other guy except for Fred.
Right? All right.
The Johnny Bravo one it does not age well.
Sadly, it really didn't.
I don't think it aged well at all. At the time, it was good. I've tried watching it as an adult, and I can't. It just that's where I'm at with it. The one thing that I have found, and I don't know how I found it, but and I can't seem to find it again. It was when the Blair Witch Project came out. Um, there was these series of short Scooby Doo things that mimicked
The Blair Witch.
the Blair Witch. It was
Nice.
absolutely fantastic. I will wholeheartedly agree to that. It was fantastic.
That's awesome.
But it was shot like they were shooting
Blair Witch.
Blair Witch, and that was the deal. So
Why are you apologizing?
who, me?
Oh, you stop. Straight line first. Curve. Ermagerd. Ermagerd. There we go. I'm just sitting here, kind of doing my thing over here. I'm making my chairs all space agey. Space age chairs. Always tell. You know how they're space age chairs? Because they've got little widgets all over them. That's how you know.
The more you know.
Right? See, people don't know these things.
All right. So far, here we go. So there is the van.
Nice. Now I can see it really well.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right, bring up Dad's studio. Now this all goes. We've done all of these pieces. Parts dock. There we go. And we say file, import, room chair. Room chair. It's a very small room chair. Bring it up in size. Over here to surfaces. Browse. We have a room chair base now. There we go. And this time it has decided not to be the right way. There we go.
Is there a proper way to be a chair?
There is the improper way to be a chair, apparently. It was set up as a... There we go. It was setting itself up as not ambient. And in order for this to work as to make it look flat and comic-y, I have to have them with ambient light 100% so that there are effectively no shadows cast to it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of a thing we have to do here.
Gotcha.
And it was coming into the scene with ambient light. I don't think there's enough room for anybody's knees under here, so let's make this a little smaller. People need to put their knees there. But there we go. We now have a chair at the workstation. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That looks nice. Okay. Now we need a couple of more things, and I'm going to call this room ready to go. We need walls for one. We need a floor for another. Useful.
So, are you going to be printing this room out and watercoloring it?
That was the battle plan, but I'm not sure I'll be able to get it done before Watercolor Wednesday ends. So we might be doing this for the next Watercolor Wednesday.
Okay, cool. Well, if I finish the pencils, this will probably be my Watercolor Wednesday for next week.
There you go. It won't be next week. It'll be 2 weeks from now. Because next week I'll be in Houston. So we are going to go on vacation too. You and me.
Really? Me and you?
Together. It's a road trip. It's going to be like one of those buddy films.
Journey of self-discovery. We pick up a hitchhiker along the way.
Always happens too in every one of those films. Think about it.
I know.
We could take Bill and Maya too, and then it'd be even funnier. It'd be one of those.
Maya and me will be like, we need to stop for directions, and you and Bill will be like,
No, we don't do that.
directions.
Right? Exactly. Be like, directions. We just need to drive this way.
we just need to get our Wi-Fi back up. We can do this on our own.
We'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. He
Okay.
agreed with that sentiment.
I actually think the chair is fine by itself there, so I'm just going to go on ahead and do a new one. We'll save that scene. And this is going to be easy because floors and walls are really, really simple. So what we're going to do is this. Then we work like this. Put it into edit mode. Go to there. And we say infinitely flat. Maybe not infinitely flat, but very, very, very flat. And what we're going to have here is effectively just a flat. That's what we would call this in the world of musicals and things like that. Plays.
Gotcha.
So we'll just make a flat. I'll make it longer than it is wide because this is a room, which it's a long room. So we'll do that. Then we go into the UV load here and we'll just select the thing. And it's pretty easy. Right now it makes just a box. So what I'm going to do is go to the side. Only select the top part right there. Are we in the wrong mode? We're in the wrong mode. There we go. This is all that's important. So everything else is not important. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this box the most important thing. And then on this, I'll say this box can be really tiny. Put it here. I'm with you. And you. And you. And you. And what I'll call this when I'm done with this is I'll just call it a flat. And we'll use it for walls and things like that that you don't see the other side of. So in the case of this guy, we're not going to see these sides, so I don't care about them. There you go. Save as. All right. And we will save the export layout. Size 20. No. 3,500. It's a little larger than my other guy. All right. We'll go in here, close you, open. Flat. The flat's not complicated really, but we do need mouse. I'll do new raster layer. New raster layer. New raster layer.
You get an asteroid. You don't get an asteroid.
Everyone gets a raster layer. All right. All right. Now, when dealing with this, we're going to have to think about things. One, we're going to do this. These are all going to be black. Makes it easy. The next question really is, how tall are we going to make the room? So I feel like the width of the room is roughly, at some point in time, I will make the room the same size, or I'll actually pull the model out of the ship so that when we are done with all of the deck plans of the spaceship, I can pull the actual room out of there and then shape it exactly right so that it looks correct whenever you're in it. But for right now, we don't have that because it's not quite done yet. So I'm going to make an arbitrary decision that that's the ceiling and that this is the floor. Right? And then we will do this, and we will do this. And this will be a wall. All right. Next thing is next. We'll go over here. I gotta move this over here so we can see it. Otherwise, I can't see anything. Scroll up. All right, this to here. And let's figure this out. Okay, so we're going to do a couple of things here, not the least of which is we're going to call this west. We can duplicate that and call it east. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But when we do north, we're going to have to take the height of this, which is going to require, because I don't know actually, I haven't figured out how to do just the markers like you normally have on these things. So actually, you know what I could do? Control D. Take this guy and just duplicate him. And then rotate him. All right. So this guy becomes north. I can just trim all of this off right here. It won't matter. All right. And then we duplicate this guy. And this becomes south. Well, one of the things I can do is just conserve space. Like north and south can be on the same spot.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're the top and the bottom of the same mat. And I will show you how we do that. Like so.
Time to take a break.
It is time to take a break. You know what that means, guys.
Here's the mail, it never fails, it makes me... Oh, wait, no, wrong show.
Yeah. How's that working for us? It's not. Okay, there you go. Okay, time to stand up. Oh my goodness.
No one needs to see me stretch.
Yep.
I'll stretch from behind here.
That works. Oh man.
Body decided to yawn.
I almost heard that, Bill. And then we go for a little walk around the apartment. Come back in. Walk over here. I rode my bike this morning, so I have to move it out of the way. Look outside, see what's going on. Nothing. All right, that was a good stretch. It's 21 degrees outside today. which is still
It's
below
so
my
nice
threshold
out
of 30.
It's
Huh?
so nice out that we opened up our windows and sliding glass door.
Thought I heard that.
All right. I stirred up the pot a little, and it came back.
Yes, you did do. Alrighty. Now, back to work. So what I did was I made north and south on the same panel here, which works just fine. Because what'll happen is I'll bring in a box and it'll be north and south, and that'll be fine. That won't be an issue. I will note this though. So that I know the difference. Because otherwise I'll be like, huh? What did I do? I don't get it.
All of a sudden, you'll be breaking out into the thick of it.
Right? It'll all of a sudden be a civil war going on right here, right now.
Mm.
Alrighty. And the next thing I want you to do. What?
Yes, Mr. Ed? What? Oh, sorry, that was messages from Bill. He sounded like Mr. Ed.
Get it right. The famous Mr. Ed.
Okay.
I was told to get it right. It's the famous Mr. Ed.
The famous Mr. Ed. There we go. We'll take this and move it to there. I feel like somebody is trying to make my kid do work. I
Where's
say
your...
that because I'm hearing a lot of thump, 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 thump downstairs. General disagreement from the child. He was like, I don't want to do this though.
Well, there's worse things.
Yep. Always worse things that could happen. He's a good kid. He's just a kid. Yeah, it's the way it always goes.
Well, I mean, kids always don't want to do what their parents say. That's why dad jokes exist.
Dad jokes are pretty bad. I'm just saying.
I mean, how else are dads supposed to get their kids to do stuff?
Right?
Tell them a bunch of dad jokes, and then the kid's like, "All right, I'll stop. I'll do it. I'll do it. You just give me away."
Just leave me alone, man. Yep. I would say dad jokes are a blight on society, but I like them too much.
Well, there's a few that are very good, and then there's a few that are not.
Yeah, but even the are not ones are awesome. Just kind of saying.
Hmm.
Actually, no, it's too late now for me to put in a header like that, so I won't. Picked up a small amount of chatter from the lower level on that. All right.
Interesting.
It's kind of cool in its own way. Not, intentionally so, but neat.
Yeah. No, and I kept getting messages on my phone, so I'm trying to get them to go away. But sorry for not looking.
I'm not complaining. I'm just, kind of over here trying to figure out what I was trying to do on this, and not succeeding.
Mm.
It's like your air conditioning duct or something like that over there. So you get air conditioning right by your bed, and maybe a light. If so, maybe the outside thing should be extended so that it can have buttons to push. Otherwise, how do we know what it's supposed to do, right? Gives it a bunch of little buttons over there to push. That's kind of cool. So a thingy on the wall to push buttons on. Always a plus. And the south wall should have a door. That's adorable. Remember dad jokes? We were just talking about dad jokes. We were totally just talking about dad jokes.
I need to get like a book or something. I mean, if I hang out with you, I get the lame dad jokes at times. Just joking. Your dad
Right?
jokes are good. For the most part.
You get. Wonder if you can get dad joke immunity. Maybe, you know.
No.
You're like, no.
I mean, if they don't get it from me, they get it from Bill.
Right?
I mean, we'll be a two-dad family, so it's a little bit hard to get away with not getting at least one dad joke a day.
Also true. Certain amount of that. Although, to be fair, Maya's pretty good at her own dad jokes. Not limited necessarily to dad.
Yes.
Wondering whether this is going to be like a super tripping hazard. Probably. But these are, cartoon characters, so it doesn't really matter. Do sort of worry a little bit about the tripping hazard here, but that's all right. That's all right. That's all right. OSHA will get mad. Of course, we always talk about where is OSHA in the Star Wars universe. Like nothing has handrails. They're 5,000 feet above a reactor on this bridge that does not have any handrails. Where's
Hey.
OSHA when you need it?
I've heard those jokes before about the handrails.
Yeah.
So the theory, I like one person's theory of why Star Trek doesn't have handrails.
Star Wars.
Star Wars?
Yeah.
No, yeah, you're right. Star Trek does have handrails.
Star Trek has lots of handrails. Star Trek is OSHA compliant.
Yeah. Star Wars doesn't. Okay. Yes.
Wow, that was a lot of thumping. Oof.
Yep.
Hope everybody's okay downstairs. Like something just went thump, boom, 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 and I felt it in the floor. I'm like, gosh, hope everybody's alive down there. So, what was your theory that Star Wars doesn't have handrails?
Oh, that most of the people have evolved to actually be smarter than the ones that needed the warning that there was no handrails.
Oh yeah.
But then I realized Star Wars, they have no handrails because if they're fighting to get the higher ground to automatically win, they would have to push someone over the edge.
Right.
In Star Trek, people flipped over those handrails so many times.
Right.
They didn't do anyone any good.
Right? Did it stop anything? Really?
That's probably why I thought there was no handrails in them.
Right.
It's kind of like the Next Generation, the Next Gen episode where all the ensigns are talking about The curse of being an ensign on a starship.
Yes. Yep. So actually, aptly called Lower Decks.
Huh?
Episode is called Lower Decks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, one thing I have to laugh about in Star Trek
Mm-hmm.
is even within the Star Trek series, they kind of make fun of the fact that the problems they have is because of their over level of trust of people.
Yes.
So they're like, just everything's open. Any panel on the ship can be open. You can just pull isolated your ships out wherever you want. No security needed. And then they're like, yes, we trust people. And in this century, we never have to worry about these things. How many times was that a problem in the series?
Well, you did have to worry about it. You did.
No one can put a latch on this, a key, something.
Yep. Well, we did have the episode where Data encrypted everything and, had to try to figure out the encryption and couldn't, as lore. I'm sorry, spoiler alert, lore. So there's at least they do have in-key encryption somewhere along the line.
Mm-hmm.
They figured that one out.
Well, that time they all got that disease that made them drunk, and they're like, let's just open airlocks randomly.
Right? You're like, that's not dangerous in space. Random open airlock.
Rule 1, a drunk person should not be capable of opening an airlock.
Right? Please breathe into the jet breathalyzer before opening airlock. Of course, nobody was actually drunk, but yeah.
Yeah.
Or eat an ice cream sundae and then actually state the ice cream sundae is just doesn't taste the same like it is on Earth. That's because it literally is reconfigured molecules from poop.
They actually made that statement in Star Trek. I was very proud of them. That was in Discovery this last season.
I have to wonder if there's some level of diminishing return on that.
Some level of what?
Some amount of diminishing return.
Yeah.
So if you have 1 gram of, what's a good level? Lead, I guess. 1 gram of lead. You convert that into energy. Can that energy produce exactly 1 gram of lead? Or is there diminishing return? So it can produce 0.99999 grams of lead.
It does kind of make you wonder, right? Like, but where would it go?
Is it lost in transition, the energy used to actually convert it into energy?
And that's what I was thinking is I could totally see that, but then the question would be, where would it go? Mm-hmm. If you had that, you've got 1 gram of lead, you convert it and it becomes 0.99 grams of lead when it reassembles, then those atoms that made up that fraction had to go somewhere. So,
well, the atoms were turned into energy, and
right. So they'd have to,
like a light bulb, would the energy be somewhat light, somewhat heat? So was it lost in heat? But if you have a
the ability to turn energy into matter, then all you do is just run the warp drive a little faster and then put more energy into it,
Mhm.
and then then you end up with three grams of lead. You're like, wait a minute. 1 gram, then 3 grams. Wait, how'd that happen? Oh, sorry, spike from the warp drive.
Right.
So I guess that could happen too. There's always that.
Yep. Standing in. No, I don't know.
You're still pondering the gram of lead. You're like, but I'm working on this gram of lead here. I'm with you.
What it's like on the other side.
I know. I'm trying to see. Nope. Back over here. So explain to me, Bill. How does this work? Come over here and you talk above this.
It's kind of cool, isn't it? The view from there must be awesome,
I know. Like if it was just like this, he'd be Wilson.
Mhm.
right?
You know.
But we'd have to call him Bilson,
Mm,
really, to be fair.
technically, he is a William, so Wilson does fit.
Wilson could work,
Mm.
but I don't know. It doesn't fit him.
Mhm.
Okay, we can call him Billy Bob.
Yeah, that doesn't fit him either, to be fair.
No, sir.
He's like, nah.
Well, we were in a store one day, and I actually got someone to call him Billy Bob.
Then you wonder, how are we still married? I always wonder. I do the same thing with my wife. I'm like, I wonder how we're still married after this. Very tolerant they are of us.
Well, we had a meeting yesterday with the adoption agency, and I even pointed out, was like, yeah, so if you guys haven't figured out, I talk a lot. And he doesn't.
That's the way it is in this family too. We have one that talks a lot, and then one that doesn't. Because we could have had messages from Maya, but she's not messaging. We have had messages from Kid.
Yeah, but they were short-lived.
Yeah, he stared at me and then walked off. It was very funny. I was like, well, okay.
Okay.
It was a thing. All right, so we got the north and the south wall ready. Since they're on the same panel, that will work really fine. It'll be just fine.
All right. So I got the buildings. I know everything's a little bit off, but
I like it. That's kind of nice.
I'll just have to figure out on how to. I think I'm gonna have to need a ruler when I go to ink.
Right?
Yeah.
See, now we could have a messages from Maya.
There's breakfast.
There's
Yeah.
breakfast.
And that was the message from the kid too, actually. He
Yeah.
just walked back away because
It was very funny. He came in here and he was like, are you broadcasting? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, and this runs on. It's like really funny.
Hi, Maya.
Hi.
Messages from Maya.
It doesn't have the same ring.
No, it really doesn't.
We'll have to figure something out for her.
We really will. Okay, I've done this wrong. I can tell already. This is going to be not fun fixing. That's whiter. Okay. That's all right. We'll just leave it alone. Okay, north and south are done.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So I
East
got the one image done.
and west.
Hmm.
Okay, so east and west can't actually occupy the same panel, which is a shame. Didn't quite do it right. That's all right. So we'll work
East
on
and west
east.
can't be the same panel position, but north and south can.
Well, they can't occupy the same page.
True.
It won't work. It's just kind of a bummer, but that's okay. We'll get there. So then I will do.
The same matter from different times can't occupy the same space.
That is true too. I mean, there is that. Nope.
I always have to laugh at myself about human beings who continue to text me when they know I have something to do this morning.
Yep. 'Tis the nature of the beast.
So I'm going to take a break from drawing because now I have to go to the next step, and I don't feel like doing that. That end, we are a little under a half an hour left of the show.
Yep.
So, so, so we will be back not next week, but following week.
Right? It's going to be 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. And I guess this is also our artist check-in too. So I guess we should
We
probably,
should probably
do that.
do our artist's check-in, huh?
Yeah. So this past weekend, obviously, I went out and I was promoting the new comic that was printed.
Mm-hmm.
We did pretty good. We only have 8 books left of the print run, so that's good. We printed 25, so like that's really like we have a low print run. We sold all but 8. You know, we got a few people. Like one couple actually bought 2 copies, one for each of their children, and they were from Virginia. So there's that. Yeah, I did. I have 2 commissions from that time. One I already posted, which is a White Widow comic sketch cover with one of the characters that I came up with for a different storyline a long time ago. Kind of abandoned it because it kind of went nowhere. There was no real traction, and no one really wanted to. No one really wanted any more.
Right.
But they were aliens, so.
Okay.
Well, I guess they're still aliens.
I say alien.
This week coming up, I have a meeting on Friday, not with you, but with someone else about doing work with them. And let me see. I'm trying to think of what else we have. Tomorrow, I think, is another day where I'm gonna kind of try to get back into the swing of things of stuff I need to get to and get done. Today was supposed to be that day, but I'm doing domestic stuff today, such as making seitan with ingredients in my cabinets.
Right. I won't be able to stop saying could be Satan. I just can't. I can't stop.
Well, it's spelled Seitan.
Sure. But
So
I stop saying it.
no, but I mean, I'm sure there are people out there who are very carnivorous who will basically agree with you, going, "Yes, it is safe."
Right? Because it's like really tasty.
Yeah, it's really tasty, but it's not meat. What?
Right? That's enough to make you hurt.
Yeah, it's also made of vital wheat gluten, so if like anyone that's like gluten sensitive or anything like that like eats it, like clearly I would not recommend that you eat it at all, like ever. Because, I don't want you to die.
Always a thing.
Um,
We're very into not dying people.
yeah.
Okay. For me, the big thing is getting this set done. If I can get the set done, then we can start doing the scene, because this is all that's left is the set for this scene. But that's we're still working on it, so there's that. But we'll be. I mean, I may go back and tweak this, but as I was saying, once all the assets are sort of built, that's the thing that's so cool about the way I do these things. Once the assets are sort of built, they are, we can move them around. Like, every room is going to have, chairs in them. So the chair that I just built will just go everywhere in all the other rooms too. And that'll work just fine.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not that big of a deal. So we will. So that's one of my big pushes for this past week, was to get this done. I'm getting there. I think I'll be done with this today or tomorrow, which will be cool. I should be able to. I end up with a retreating cat over here. Not George, the other cat, Dove. Because Looks like Maya is wandering around doing things, and so Dove is a little unnerved all of a sudden.
Hmm. Hmm. A cat, a nerve.
Right?
Whatever do you think this is?
All right. Looks like we've got ourselves a ceiling. And then we'll start building this in. And the magic will begin.
Like re-looking at some of the things that I was in the middle of writing before I had to stop right now. And I find myself very, very intrigued on how my mind works now.
Usually when I do that, I find myself very, very concerned. You know, just a thing.
Well, I find it amused because I'm going back to the story Harry Palms.
Right? I like that story. It was funny.
I haven't finished it yet, but I'm just like, huh. Yeah, this setup is pretty interesting and intriguing.
Right?
And I am twisted in the head for it.
You are twisted in the head. But in an okay way. All right. Let's move over to here and start putting this stuff in. Import. Did I not save it as an object file? Maybe not. Save as. No, not save as. What is my problem? Export. Waveform. Waveform. I don't know. Right? Okay. Flat is in. All right. This is one of those where I'm going to actually go from the top view down so I can get a good idea of the size I want this to be. So about this big. These are ship quarters, so probably not that big, like that big. There we go. Browse, and we'll pick up Chang floor. Work. There we go. Now we'll duplicate this. And with the duplicate node, we can go up, flip it, and then we'll take this guy and we'll say browse, and we'll say Chang ceiling, right? And then we'll do the same thing. We'll go and we'll duplicate the node. Rotate it 90 degrees. Let me see, diffuse, browse. This is east. So we check to get our ceiling height correct. There we go. Again, we duplicate the node.
All this and it comes out of nowhere. Error, 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 error.
Danger, Will Robinson, danger.
You forgot to put the loft space in their unit. And you're like, there's not supposed to be a loft space.
Okay, so this is the north-south wall, which is going to be sideways. So this is the north wall, so we'll rotate it 90 out. Okay. Yeah, clearly you're not going to help me any. So I'm going to have to go in here and manually do this. Minus 0.
I mean, it looks good.
It's coming along real nice. I think it's it'll look much better in just a second here. Duplicate node. We'll do this. And then I don't think that's what I wanted to do. I really don't. I think we're going to regret that in a second here. Surface is flat, diffuse, browse. And we want the west wall, like the west wing, except different. And then we'll hit parameters on this. And we'll say rotate 180. All right. Now from the perspective view, we can go in here and we get animated quarters. And then actually kind of looks like now with all of my my stuff, there's always a certain amount of having to go and touch up stuff. Always happens.
Mm.
And it's 90. All of you guys need to be straightened out. Minus 180. All like slightly crooked. And you're just straight up who you are. Gotcha.
Do you want it to be slightly crooked?
No, because it's the starship's quarters, so everything's going to be straight up. So, okay, now we've got quarters, and you can actually kind of move around them a little, and I can come up with different angles and things like that, but it still looks like a hand-drawn thing that I did, so that works really well. So there we go. Okay. I think I need to do some adjustment, though, on things like this guy needs to be in the wall. Work like that. There, like that. This is where I wanted to be today for painting, because then I could print this and then paint it, and it'd be kind of fun to do. But clearly we're not that was not meant to be, as we only have 10 minutes now. It'll take me 10 minutes just to print it. But
I mean, that's a good thing, I guess. Takes
Yeah.
10 minutes to print.
well, we also don't know what it renders like.
Okay.
Yep, it renders in weird colors. I knew that was going to happen somewhere along the line because it couldn't possibly do exactly what it was supposed to do. But that's okay. I can fix that really quick. You need to stop being this and start being this. Your ambience all the way up. Ambient strength is all the way up. Actually, I should just select everything and do that. Now let's see what it does. Floor is correct. Bed is correct. Everything else is correct. Ceiling is not. The ceiling has this color going for it. Why is it decided to be weird colors? Okay. There we go. And like I said, with most of my drawings, there's still something that just kind of needs to still be done, but I might go back into the maps and fix it. Like around the curve of the chair here is missing. So I might just go back into the maps. And then, of course, the bottom of the chair has no marker there. And then there's no bottom to the console either. Or back here. But that's how I can tell now. I do a quick render. Now I know what to tweak the maps just a little bit here or a little bit there to make everything work. And get everything straightened out. The ceiling is crooked. The ceiling is not crooked. Are you crooked? Maybe you're crooked. You are crooked. That's really weird. Like, why did you choose these things? There we go. Perfect. So, there are a few other things also that I want to do in this room before I'm ready to actually call it a solid render. I want to put like drawers or dressers or some place for storage on the other side over here. I mean, it is still quarters of some sort, but we've got a couple of minor fixes to go with the room. But it looks pretty solid. I'm actually pretty happy with it. It looks just fine.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that makes some sense. I've gotten kind of used to doing this in Tamerlan. So it's the same exact process, except that I built all of my assets myself. So the bed and everything like that. Of course, I built them all yesterday. But it makes me feel better about using pre-rendered sets and stuff like that because I built them all. I mean, these are my models. I built them in 3D and everything's mine and you guys watched it. I get very self-conscious about the 3D modeling thing because I know that a lot of artists really like the I spent forever doing the line work on this and stuff like that. I spent forever in a perspective ruler trying to get all of this stuff drawn in perspective. And I'm like, I just rendered it in 3D. And they're like, what? That's not fair. You're cheating, and so I do sort of feel self-conscious sometimes about this, but I mean, it looks good. It looks solid.
I mean, it just depends, I guess. Honestly, if you're a person that's a perfectionist and you can do it, then do it.
Right? Sort of my thought too is like, so everything, I have to keep selecting everything and making it stop being goofy. Like this wall is goofy. But, it works. All of it works, and I can't really complain. Okay. About 4 more minutes and we'll be done. I'm going to real quickly do all of this. I also feel like as an artist, we should use all of our assets that we can to make this faster. People, unless you're not a production artist. If you and I, though, we're comic artists. The faster we can roll a panel, the better. So.
Well, it also is just, you're making an entire scene so that you can put it in a space for you to draw a character in.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that.
Yep, and I can just stick the character in this scene. I can stick the maquette in this scene, and then the maquette actually can interact with the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Also cool. Sometimes I put maquettes in, sometimes I don't. Do what? Yeah, you're yawning.
I was saying, unless you don't know the maquette.
That's true.
What if you didn't make the maquette? What if the maquette basically is like, I'm not your puppet anymore?
Right, exactly. Decides to resign from duty.
Yeah.
Anything could happen.
The maquette, I can just picture it now. The maquette goes, you wanted data, but you got lore.
Right. And I'd be like, nah. Though to be fair, that is kind of cool.
Thank you for dropping me and my crew off at this random planet, Centi Alpha 5.
Yep.
You're going to come back and check on us, right?
It's my own SETI eel. You're going to check on us, right?
You're going to check on us, right? You're going to come back and check on us, right? What's really funny about that whole entire thing is the fact that the guy that played Khan later, he reprises the role, yes, in the movie, but also he starred in this series where this young couple basically gets killed on their honeymoon, and he's they have to do a certain number of things in order to get into heaven, and he plays their angel that gives them he plays this angel that gives them their assignments to do.
Wow.
And it was really weird seeing him in that one versus as Khan.
Yeah. Or as Mr. Rourke in Fantasy Island.
Yeah.
That was also kind of strange. That's what he was doing at that time when he filmed the movie.
Well, with Fantasy Island, I just thought some Q took on his appearance. Let's be realistic with this for a second, shall we? We have a man on a mysterious island that can grant you any wish that you want when you step on the shores of the island, right? So you get any wish. So women can get their husbands who want to always make them pregnant with kids, and the husband can carry the child, and the wife could be and can act like the husband during all of the, all the pregnancies. That sort of deal.
But
No joke.
only if they get pregnant on the island, though, as I recall.
No joke. That is actually a Fantasy Island episode.
Yeah, it was actually a plot.
But like, then you have this character who you have this actor who played Khan, and he's acting nice and like very, very like, I want to say kind of like in a chaotic good nature, and then you have his assistant, in which case they make his assistant out to be like, maybe it's not a good place, like.
Right.
Let's think of our life choices so far.
I'm regretting my life choices at this point.
But if you take into the context that it's a cube or like an island on Earth that the Continuum controls, it's perfectly logical that a Q is controlling this island.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm certainly willing to accept that.
Yeah.
But it is an interesting thing. I remember watching Fantasy Island in the 80s, and I probably haven't watched Fantasy Island since the 80s. But I remember watching Fantasy Island in the 80s and going, this isn't what they think it is it? Like I'd watch it and go,
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, then they tried to reboot it later, I think in the late 90s.
Yeah.
That one was even weirder.
It's like they took what gets me is that they'll always take like the wrong lesson, I feel like. I remember that one Fantasy Island episode that was scary, so they'll all be scary now. And you're like, I don't remember Fantasy Island being a horror flick.
I mean, it depends on
some that were horrible.
You had the one guy that was staying there for a week who was a complete and utter germaphobe,
right.
And he was placed in a hermetically sealed, contained area away from everyone. And he basically, that was his dream, to have no germs whatsoever with the ability to get on him. And then you have this person that just casually ends up wandering in to his little hermetically sealed area, and he gets pissed off.
Right.
Set. But then they both figured out that neither of them can leave.
Right. Then it's a horror flick.
Yeah.
But it's the wrong kind of horror, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Is like they got the wrong kind of horror. Because I love psychological horror. I love that. I love anything that just messes with your mind. You're like, I need to be him. But instead they decided to do the cat jumping off of shelves, jumpy scare sort of horror, and axe murderers, and
that was more like towards the end of the series in the 90s too. I didn't like that one. I liked the beginning ones. I liked the one where obviously there was a woman there that was with her husband, and they had only been giving birth to boys, or no, girls. Only giving birth to girls, and the wife basically was on pregnancy number 6 or something like that.
Right.
So when they got to the island, the first night there, then the next morning, the wife woke up. She wasn't pregnant, but her husband was.
Right.
I found it hilarious because the husband's like, oh, blah blah blah, and then she's just like, oh, get over it. It's fine. It comes with the territory of pregnancy,
Right.
And he's like, but I need my feet rubbed. They hurt so much. And she's like, I'm sorry. I have no use. I'm not strong enough to do that. You know, like
There's some
basically,
cute stuff.
yeah. I think the worst one. I think I think this is like something that I always kind of like think about is, um, and I think they did it with the older story, with the older show too, and in the reboot, where there was a person that wanted to know everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And their version of the person to make the person realize that you shouldn't know everything, in the new updated one, was basically going and like proving that she did know everything by allowing the person to figure out that her husband and sister had an affair.
Right.
And in the original show, I don't think it played out the same way, but it was something similar.
Right. Well, yeah, it's the extension of the genie and be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you don't
okay,
really
well,
make a wish with a genie anymore, so it's okay.
yeah, well, that's what I mean. Is that's what I always picked up as what Fantasy Island was an extension of be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Which is why I get kind of aggravated when they decide to go for just straight up horror. Because it's like, nah, that's not what it was. It was be careful what you wish for, you know?
Yeah.
That's the point. So, okay, well, we could go on about Fantasy Island forever, and I'm hungry, really hungry, because my wife was like, I'm cooking breakfast, so don't eat anything. And then I got into the show, which is why she came up here perplexed, going, but breakfast is ready. You know, because, of course, you know, she's forgotten I still work. Which is
Sure.
fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, if you had told me that you didn't want to do the show this morning, that's fine by me.
I still work. It's all good. I got stuff to do. I got to finish this so that I can get it out the door. Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, how about I let you finish that? You go eat, and I'm gonna go eat because the seitan should be done by
Thing
now.
to do. It seems like a
And
thing to do.
I will see you all later.
Okay.
In 2 weeks.
Well, so thanks for joining us, Ghost Hand. Thanks for joining us, Brent. And we will see you tomorrow for the last show before vacation. And then until then, I will talk to you later. Remember to keep your eyes on the stars. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Computer, good night.